My name is Caleb Higgins. I did my senior internship here at Kansas Wesleyan University with the strength conditioning program and Coach Jones. Coach Jones is a Kansas Wesleyan University strength conditioning coach. He's a former athlete here at Kansas Wesleyan University. Fun fact, Coach Jones and I are actually from the same area here in Kansas. Out west, about an hour 15 for me, hour 45 for him. Live just about 25-30 minutes apart from each other. And we've competed against each other in numerous sports, such as football, track, and basketball. Of course, I always beat him in the individual sports, but he had a better football team, so he always got me in that one. I believe that because of this relationship that we built, he allowed me to intern under him and soak up as much knowledge that I could that he's learned over the years with his previous jobs and internships that he's had. Some more about the strength conditioning. I've always had an interest in the career in sports, more specifically in football itself. And more recently, it's been an interest of mine to pursue a career in strength conditioning. That interest started back in high school, about junior year of high school, and then really came into fruition when I got to college here at Kansas Wesleyan University. This internship helped me understand what a career in strength conditioning truly entails. I got to interact with Coach Jones on a daily basis, see what he goes through every day, see how he prepares for his day, how he prepares for the rest of the week, next week, and so on. And then prior to starting my internship, I've been around several strength coaches that have been here at Kansas Wesleyan University. Coach Matthew Myers, Coach John Nicoletti. Both of those two guys were here my first 2 years here at Kansas Wesleyan University. And because of those guys, I had a small understanding of what their careers and what their daily tasks looked like. And then during my years here at Kansas Wesleyan University and the courses I took, I amassed the knowledge I needed to understand and introduce others into strength and conditioning. I want to thank Professor Brian Minnick, Professor Lisa Dunn, and Professor Jonathan Hughes for helping me with that. Overview of my internship. It was just a semester long, from January 16th through May 5th, 2023. Actually in the internship here on Friday. I'm recording this a little early. It's located here in Salina, Kansas, at Kansas Wesleyan University. The facilities that we used during the internship include the Everett Morgan Strength Training Center, which is in the basement of the Student Athletic Center here at Kansas Wesleyan University, and Gene Bissell Field, which is the football, soccer, and flag football field here at the university. What a day looked like for me was actually several different days. My long days were Mondays. I'd wake up at about 5 o'clock. At about 6 o'clock, I'd have to be here. I'd roughly get here about 5:30, 5:45. By 6 o'clock, we'd have men's volleyball. They were in season when we first started, so it was only 2 days a week when we first started. They would go at 6 on Mondays, and then on Wednesdays they would actually go at 2 p.m., which is actually nice. Got sleeping a little bit on Wednesdays. On Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, football would have their workouts. We go from 8 to 2. There would be 5 sessions. The Tuesday and Thursday, the sessions would be a little bit longer. We got a little more time. The sessions go around their class schedules. And then at 3 o'clock on Mondays and Wednesdays, I would have women's soccer weights. And then on Monday nights, I would actually have to come back up to the school at 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. and run the weight room desk, just to ensure that if there were injuries, someone was here. They could see what the situation was like, see if they needed to call help or not. And then also after 8 o'clock, I would shut down the weight room and then clean up for the day and make sure it's ready for the next day. And then an off day, but when I didn't really have much going on, it's like during spring ball when football cut down their weights times. And then recently with school kind of ending and teams going back home and everything, basically just work out myself and then I'm still in football, so I still had to go to football practices and football meetings, and had spring game and all that type of stuff. And the individuals I worked with who are big contributors and what made my internship was such an enjoyable time was Coach Nolan Jones, who's the head strength and conditioning coach. Coach Matt Myers is the head football coach here. Coach James Bauer, he's the football offensive coordinator and associate head coach. Coach Dustin Solomon, the head men's volleyball coach. Coach Cam Hunter, he's the women's soccer GA, now the assistant men's soccer coach. Coach Justin Sullivan, Coach Walker Terrain, and Coach Anthony Vargas, who are all football graduate assistants. And then my two fellow interns, Nicholas Alsman and Cole Parker. All right, some challenges that I faced during my internship. The big one was overcoming my fear of public speaking. And especially in big groups that we had groups of like 30 people, that was extremely overwhelming for me when I first started. But as I grew throughout the internship, I became more used to it, more attuned to it. I was actually able to overcome that fear a little bit. And what helped me with that was actually being just thrown into the fire and having to step up pretty early on into the internship, whether it was just leading warm-ups, just 10-minute warm-up, and then handing it off to Coach Jones, or leading the entire weight group, whether that be a group of like 5 up to the 30 I just said earlier. And then another challenge I faced was routinely waking up early. I haven't always been one that sleeps in a lot, but I also do like to sleep in, so I take the chance every time I get it. But this helped me stay more disciplined throughout the semester. I'd always get up early, even if I didn't have to be here early, I was always up, just being out and about, just getting ready for the day. And then the last challenge was I had to learn how to connect with a wide range of athletes, and sometimes they weren't always the most excited to be in the weight room, even though I think everybody should be. Haven't always interacted with female athletes a ton. They're an entirely different group of athletes and how they work and how they train. You got to kind of get adjusted to that and learn how it works. That was a big learning curve for me. And another learning curve was the tempo and the intensity that men's volleyball and soccer had compared to football. Football's always get up in your face, yell, super intense, running around the weight room, super high energy. Whereas soccer and men's volleyball were kind of mellow, just there, get some work in, get a little bit to get better, and then move on with the day. That was a big adjustment I had to get used to. It wasn't something I expected to be an issue, but it was wired in my head from being a football player that when you're in the weight room, you're there to work, and that's the only thing you're there to do. But with the soccer and the volleyball athletes, that's not how they're wired. And so I had to get used to that. And then some of the lessons I learned was once I did eventually learn or gain the confidence to lead groups, I quickly learned that I do have the knowledge and skills necessary to be an effective leader. The classes I took here, the classes I took back in high school, the outside research I've done, and this internship has helped me grow that knowledge and be effective in how I present that to the athletes. Also, it helped me learn that I am capable of leading the athletes in the weight room, whether they just be able to command the weight room, command attention, command respect, stuff like that, and just make sure that the athletes are working as one, aren't off in little groups just hanging out, talking about they're all there to work. I also learned how to adjust my coaching style to fit the group that I am in without changing who I am as a person. Like I said on the last slide, football and soccer and volleyball, they all got different attitudes towards lifting. And I'm not gonna I can't change the fact that lifting makes you better, but I can change how I present that to the athletes to make it engaging towards them without actually changing the importance of working out. Some highlights that I need to mention from my internship was every day that I showed up to my internship, it was always super enjoyable. Coach Jones, Nick Osmond, Cole Parker, these guys always made it fun to show up. And then just working with the athletes, helping them get better, seeing how much they progress, how much they grow, seeing their numbers improve, seeing their attitudes and towards lifting improve, which was something I didn't expect to happen. That was probably the biggest highlight, was just seeing the attitudes of people change because of Coach Jones, myself, Alsman, and Cole Parker. Just how we interacted with them. It made them want to be in the weight room. Another highlight was working in this internship allowed me to work with some great athletes. Obviously, we had some all-conference people last year that are returning. So just seeing how the all-conference people work, seeing what drives them, what motivates them, how hard of a worker they are. And even we had some injured athletes that sometimes didn't always want to show up, but when they did show up, they were there to work. And obviously they had treatment time, so like sometimes they would conflict. So it's not always they just didn't show up and they had other things they had to be doing. Another thing is how much I enjoy being a coach, and strength conditioning is definitely a career path I want. Coaching athletes is something I've always been kind of iffy on. I know I want to be in strength conditioning. I don't know if it was I want to be like a coach of a large group, more of a personal trainer. But I think coaching a sports team is definitely the side I want to pick on that one. And one of the reasons why is because I see the progression and the camaraderie in the group, and they push each other and help each other to get better, and they all want to see each other succeed, which is one of the big things that I love about team sports. That's going to be it. All I got for the presentation today. If you got any questions, feel free to forward them to my email on the screen, caleb.hagens@kwu.edu. Thanks for your time today. Hope you have a good day. Thank you.